All right, we are at week 14. We got this week and next week to go. All right, so the agenda for today's session, we're going to go through the slides. There aren't that many to go through. We're going to talk over some stuff that can be done between now and the end of the semester, stuff that needs to be done, and stuff that you can do. And also, we're going to be looking one last time at the most recent topics on the discussion board. It is now at the maximum of 14 topics. So they are all up there. If you have not responded to all of them, this would be a good opportunity to do that. All right, so this entire slideshow was a short series of housekeeping reminders about the semester. Okay, it's getting down to the wire in terms of deadlines for class assignments, and we're approaching finals week, which is in 2 weeks. So we're doing the remaining assignments and deadlines in the class, as well as tips on what to possibly improve your grade. But if you are too far behind, it's probably going to be impossible to gain a passing grade within the constraints of the time left in the semester. Keep that in mind. So let's talk about the weekly discussion topics. Okay. We have the full total of 14 posted now, one per week from the start of the semester. For those people who have been participating regularly, I appreciate that. You'll see if we go to the discussion board that we have a wide range of number of responses in each topic. At the very start of the semester, we actually have 76 responses, ranging to the most recent one, which only has 14, but that's only because it's just posted on Monday. All right, those who have not, you need to post to the board. Here's one thing to keep in mind. In order to count toward the grade, your responses on the discussion board must be a minimum of 3 paragraphs. Okay? So if you responded, but you responded with a short response, you're going to have to go back and either edit your original response so that it stretches out to 3 paragraphs, or you have to repost with a 3-paragraph response, or else your response to that topic is not going to count. Okay? The grade for the discussion board is based on how many topics you've responded to by the end of the semester. Okay? And that is the number of responses that count. Therefore, the more topics you post a full response to, the better your grade will be. Okay? This board locks on May 7th. Okay? It locks May 7th at midnight. After that time, no additional posts can be made. You need to respond to the post with a 3-paragraph response. The number of topics you respond to will determine your grade for the discussion board, as I mentioned before. Okay? All right, Mindtap. The Mindtap exercises are a good chunk of your grade. You need to complete the exercises there. People have been asking me, what do I need to do on Mindtap? Okay? It's any exercise on Mindtap that is marked with an orange dot. Okay? That means we're looking at mostly grammar exercises. There's an entire section marked auto-graded assignments, and then there's a section marked critical grammar spelling mechanics exercises. Those are the 2 places where you're going to find the exercises you need to do. Okay? Now, throughout the semester, you should have been completing these because it's self-paced and all the exercises are auto-graded. Okay? Also considering the fact that there's approximately, if my memory serves right, there's approximately 80 exercises. Okay, so you should have been doing this all throughout the semester. The grade for Mindtap will appear in the gradebook based on your Mindtap total score. Grades in the gradebook are weighted based on the percentages given in the syllabus. Okay. Also locks on May 7th. Okay, so any remaining stuff that needs to be done at Mindtap has to be done by that time in order to achieve the best possible grade. Also, keep in mind that any counts toward grade exercises that are not attempted wind up counted against your score by Mindtap's system. Okay, so anything you don't try counts as a attempt with a 0 grade. So it pays to actually try to do everything. Okay. we have the proposal essay. Okay. This week should be doing revisions on the proposal essay. Okay. You should be with your team doing a revision workshop. As a reminder, the proposed topic should be the research question you use as the basis for your antibibliography. I'm going to talk about those in a minute here. Okay. So you should also be using as many of the sources from the antibibliography that were usable for your research question. Okay. If you need to find more sources, that's fine, as long as you have receipts. As you do revision workshopping on this essay, please keep in mind the following that are parts of your grade. One is detail. How much about the subject presented in the essay? Is it enough that an uninitiated reader will understand what's being discussed? How deep does the analysis of the subject go? Okay. We have readability. How comfortable is it for a general reader to read? How much of the essay is fully understandable from the viewpoint of an uneducated reader? They also have focus. How well does the essay stay on topic and focus on the research question? How far does the reader digress? Okay. So all those things are part of your grade for this, for all the essays, honestly. So this week is the revision workshop. Next week is going to be the proofreading and editing workshop. Okay. At the end of next week, the essay will be due. Once again, the link will open up on Thursday, and you'll be able to turn it in on Thursday, starting midnight. Okay. You'll only be allowed to turn this essay in until May 13th to receive credit for it. Okay. So you only have through the following Thursday to turn it in. So one thing that's not in this slideshow that I need to mention also is also part of the discussion board grade. It is the lecture exercises. Okay. Those count toward the discussion board grade. Again, that's a completion grade. So as long as you have completed all of the exercises and all of the lectures that had them, you will get the full credit for that part of the discussion board grade. Okay. So really, the discussion board grade is going to be based on 14 discussion topics, and let me count them up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lecture exercise topics. So a grand total of 24 discussion threads that you need to have responded to. Okay. So again, that board also locks on the 7th. All right. The last slide here is talking about corrections of past work and how you can get some points back. Okay. You can improve your grade through improvements to the past work for the class. In the case of this class, this means performing corrections on the classical argument and the evaluation essays. Check against the notes that I've given and the feedback I gave you on the essays. I would also recommend you allow others to read the corrected essays for proofreading. Okay. Some people have been asking me about what kind of feedback I gave them. Okay, they've been asking me to do some clarifications on some of the feedback. Some of it I can understand, but they are actually doing it with the goal of reworking those papers so that they can be improved, so that they can get better. Okay. If you choose to make corrections to the essay, make sure you're able to turn them in by May 7th. Okay. It says I'm going to reopen the assignments. You can try to just turn them in because I have them set for unlimited attempts. However, if you're unsuccessful in getting them reposted, go ahead and just email them to me. Okay. One thing to keep in mind, the revised versions will not incur the late penalty. So if you turned the original one in late and got the penalty incurred, if you turn in a correction, that penalty will go away. Okay. So that does it for the slides for this week. We're going to open up some questions here just real quick. Then I'm going to go over the last topics that I've just posted to the discussion board, including this week's. Then we'll also talk over what I'm finding with the antibibliographies because I've started grading those. So, anybody has any questions? Go ahead, raise your hand, and let me see them. Mindtap, you do all these assignments with the orange dots. Yes. Right. Yeah, all the assignments with the orange dots are the ones that count towards your grade. Ready to go sign up for the final. Okay, the final exam link has not gone live yet. It's going to be under the final exam tab on Mindtap. Okay. Let me just take a look at it real quick myself. Yeah, it's under the final exam tab. Okay. One thing I want to make sure everybody's aware of is that every section is going to have its own PowerPoint slides with the questions that I've chosen for that section. Okay, so you have to remember which class section you're in and only open up the folder for that section. Okay, or only open up the PowerPoint for that section because those are the questions you'll be working with. See, the problem is with the study packet, going on another tab is going to be kind of like doing surfing while you're actually doing the assignment. Okay. The point of the packet is that you're supposed to do the research ahead of time. If you have a packet in another tab, the links that are in it are going to be live. There is a possibility that you'll be able to follow those links. Now, we can set it up so that you have the proctor make sure that you do not follow those links. Or the other possibility is if you have another device that you can put it on, such as a mobile device, and you can do it that way. Okay. I will allow exception on this if you do not have a printer. It's in a Blackboard tab. You don't have to sign up for anything. Okay, there's no sign up. It's going to be in the Blackboard tab. The link is going to go live. The link is going to go live next the Monday of finals week. Okay, so that would be May 10th. There's not really any way to open them. It's basically the ones that you're revising are basically just your essays. I should have them set up for unlimited attempts. So all you have to do is just go follow the link again and resubmit it. If you are not able to do that, you can just email it to me. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the most recent discussion questions, okay? So again, the discussion board is now at its capacity. There are 14 topics now posted, starting from week 1 all the way through week 14. We'll do just a brief overview of the previous 11 topics before we go in depth on the final 3, okay? So first off, week 1, ethics of accelerating scientific discovery. This is in regards to the speed of the development of the COVID-19 vaccines, okay? Week 2, video games political. This was dealing with the trucking video game that did that got criticized for doing a special event about hauling vaccines. Week 3, GameStop and the short squeeze chaos. This was about Wall Street Bets doing the short squeeze on GameStop a couple months ago and the reaction to it. Week 4, tone deaf Super Bowl message. In the wake of the GameStop short squeeze and the bad behavior Robinhood exhibited during that time, it seemed out of touch for them to air a Super Bowl ad during the fourth quarter of the game. Week 5, cancel culture or consequences. This was about the firing of Gina Carano from The Mandalorian over a lot of right-wing based misinformation she'd been spreading, including allusions to violence and anti-Semitism. Week 6, blowback from the blizzard of the century. This was in regards to the snow emergency the entire state of Texas had that knocked out a lot of the power grid. Week 7, exploring grief with Marvel. This was about WandaVision and how it was a contemplation on how to deal with grief. Week 8, controversy of Seussian proportion. It's regards to the Theodore Geisel estate removing certain Dr. Seuss books from publication because they contained outdated racial stereotypes. Week 9, money for nothing, but your NFTs aren't free. This is about non-fungible tokens and the markets for them. Incidentally, there was news about this. The old meme disaster girl, the girl that's in that particular meme photo, just sold the meme as an NFT at auction, and it drew a winning bid of approximately $430,000. Okay. Next one, 10, the predicted good ship ever given. This was the Suez Canal crisis with the ship that was stuck in the canal. There's still ongoing stuff going on with that because the ship has now been seized by Egypt until they pay restitution for all of the damage and the lost income from the blockage of the Suez Canal. The week 11 repercussions for voter suppression, dealing with businesses protesting the Georgia voter law, which severely restricted voter access to the point where Major League Baseball withdrew the All-Star game and moved it to Denver from Atlanta. Okay. So now we're going to go to the most recent 3 topics. So starting off, week 12's topic, artistic media hits too close to home. So here's the discussion for this week. Fans of comic book media were slightly surprised when a content warning was posted by Marvel for the most recent episode of the Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, advising about disturbing content in the show that had parallels to real-world events. Most online fan pundits were thinking about a previous episode involving the series' apparent villain faction, the Flag Smashers, stealing loads of vaccines and thought it would be a pandemic reference, as there were many speculations that the overarching story of this would involve a pandemic in one way or another. What actually occurred, though, mirrored a much different real-world event, the death of George Floyd. At the end of the episode, the character John Walker, who had been appointed as Captain America after the retirement of the original, reaches the nadir of his downward spiral after realizing he is not truly strong enough to be Captain America. After injecting himself with the last remaining sample of a serum to give him enhanced strength, speed, and agility, he attacks the Flag Smashers. When his friend and associate Lamar Hoskins gets accidentally killed by a Flag Smasher, Walker snaps, finds a different nearby Flag Smasher, chases him down, and bludgeons him to death with Captain America's shield. The final image of the episode shows Walker becoming aware that there is a huge crowd of people filming him as blood drips off of the shield. To say this is on the nose for recent events is an understatement. A figure of authority killing a defenseless adversary is exactly the situation that former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is being tried for in court proceedings and entering their third week this week. It can be argued, though, that this was not the intent of the scene, as it directly mirrors events that were portrayed in Marvel Comics almost a decade earlier. An alternate world version of the Avengers called the Ultimates, the original Captain America does the same thing to 2 villains. The main thing that could be faulted with that argument would be the timing of the episode, which was unfortunate. For your discussion this week, talk over whether there should have been a change made to this episode's ending. Is there another way the writers could have shown Walker is unfit to be Captain America, and what would you have written? If you would keep this ending, should Disney Plus have moved the episode or been more explicit about the content warning? What could have been done to make this situation a little less on the nose for sensitive viewers? There are 3 sources for this question. One article from Inside the Magic, which is a Disney blog. Disney Plus adds new content warning to Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have an article from Collider, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, what Episode 4's ending says about the new Captain America. And Screen Rant, John Walker twist recreates a controversial Captain America moment. This is actually a tough one for me because my wife had actually been getting into the show, but after hearing what had gone on in this particular episode, she said she could not continue to watch it through to the end. So, because she's a little sensitive to current events. All right, so that is week 12. Let's go to 13. Week 13, plagiarism in the professional art realm. Okay, so this is discussion for this week. While the game has been around for over 25 years, Magic the Gathering and its publisher Wizards of the Coast recently made headlines for the wrong reasons recently. The company released previews of the next Magic the Gathering expansion set, Strixhaven, which included releases of all the card art for the release. One card's art became notable, though, because its art looked suspiciously familiar. The card Crux of Fate, one of the many spell cards reprinted with new art for the Strixhaven set's Mystic Archive, sported artwork credited to Jason Felix. Many people who viewed the card, however, noticed a too close similarity to Magic the Gathering fan art from DeviantArt, in particular a piece by artist Kit LaPena of main MTG antagonist Nicol Bolas, which even included an inaccuracy. Further investigation showed the other dragon in the card was plagiarized as well from earlier card art by contract artist Raymond Swanland. In the end, Wizards of the Coast cut ties with Felix. While it isn't publicized much, plagiarism still exists in the art world, particularly in the comics realm, from uncredited homages to tracing accusations. For instance, Marvel artist Greg Land was infamously accused of tracing poses from porn in his work, especially women. More recently, as artists try to connect with fans, many have taken to accepting art commissions from the public, which has opened up more plagiarism, most notably Fairly Odd Parents creator Butch Hartman, who was accused of plagiarizing a Japanese artist on Twitter. For this week, discuss the actions taken in the case of Jason Felix. Was Wizards of the Coast right in cutting ties with Felix, or was there other actions that could be taken? What should Wizards of the Coast do with the card art itself? Should the card remain in circulation or be recalled to replace the artwork? How does art plagiarism affect your enjoyment of artwork? So we have 4 sources for this. We have an article from Bell of Lost Souls, which is a role-playing game and gaming website. MTG, New Strixhaven Crux of Fate card fuels questions of plagiarized art. We have from IGN, Magic the Gathering artist suspended after fan art plagiarism claims. PC Gamer, Magic the Gathering contract artist who copied fan art. I was overworked, but that's no excuse. And then from Insider, Fairly Odd Parents creator accused of plagiarizing from Japanese Twitter artists for commissions. Okay. This was actually kind of interesting for me. If you recall from the very first week of class when we were getting to know each other, I mentioned that I am a Magic player. So I have yet to come across this card. I did see the artwork in question. And if you're wondering about the giveaway that I mentioned in the topic and the inaccuracy, the character of Nicol Bolas is what the series calls an elder dragon. And so he's a monstrous figure. He has kind of a humanoid look to him. So he has hands, but he only has 3 fingers on each hand. The artwork in particular gave him 5 fingers. And when Felix copy pasted when he copy pasted Kit LaPeña's Nicol Bolas to the card art, he did not fix the number of fingers. So that's how I knew this was copied. All right. So we have one more, and this is the last topic for the semester. Okay. This week's topic: stealth advertising or innocent plaything. Okay. So here's the topic for this week's. The Lego company has always been on the cutting edge of trends with their plastic brick construction sets, innovating more creative and unique ways for kids to express their creativity. Sometimes the offerings have fallen short in addressing society's changes, such as their sets that have been marketed to girls, but they have come back with better sets appealing to all. A big part of the appeal of Lego has been its embrace of licensed properties. However, one of those licenses that led to greater innovation might also be leading the company into uncharted trouble. Lego's recent Nintendo licensed Super Mario sets are unique from other Lego sets in that the brick containing Mario's face also has LED displays for his eyes and mouth so he can emote. It also includes a sound chip to allow Mario to talk. Because it's controlled by an onboard computer, the Mario head brick occasionally needs software updates. After the most recent one, owners noticed Mario now pines for his currently missing brother Luigi. Shortly after the update, Lego announced the next round of Super Mario sets would indeed include Luigi, with a similar head block. This has led to some controversy and accusations that Lego is performing stealth advertising to children, a practice long frowned upon since at least the 1980s trends of children's television being half-hour toy ads. For this week, take a side in this dispute and argue for or against Lego and by extension Nintendo stealth advertising to kids through this update. Is it innocent playtime for kids or a ploy to sell more Lego sets? Should the update have included the calls for Luigi, or is it too ethically questionable to be right? We have 4 sources for this one. We have an article from Game Rant. Lego Super Mario set, one of the company's most successful themed launches. Article from Eurogamer. Lego Super Mario has started crying out for Luigi. One from Screen Rant. Lego Super Mario is calling for Luigi after update. That's kind of creepy. And then we have a video from YouTube, the channel by Jim Sterling. Mario is selling his own brother to children, which is an episode of Sterling's long-running show, The Jimquisition. I subscribe to Jim Sterling's channel, and that's actually how I heard about this initially on Monday. So that's why I decided to make this a topic. Okay, so when you're considering this, think about the examples that I mentioned in here about children's television being half-hour toy ads. Jim Sterling actually makes mention of this in his video because he's like me, kind of the same generation, so we grew up on those types of kids shows. And he's talking things like Master of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Transformers, those shows. They were basically all advertising. Okay, so consider whether you think this is another example of that sort of marketing, or if you think it's innocent. Okay. All right, so one other thing I want to deal with before we get to the last round of questions this week, and that is the antibibliographies. I have gotten through grading 20 of them thus far, okay? And the quality of the work in them is variable, okay? I've encountered some very good ones, and I've also encountered some where people really didn't get the point, okay? It's enough that I'm kind of questioning whether we should continue having this assignment in this class, because people don't seem to get to understand what I'm looking for. Okay, there was at least one group that appeared to copy paste everything from their other teammates, including their research questions and the annotations, which was what I did not want you to do. I wanted you to actually create your own annotations for the sources that your group presented. Okay, the only thing you were supposed to take from your teammates was their sources. You were supposed to evaluate them yourself and make your own annotations and your own evaluation of how they work into your research question. Not take their research question, not take their annotations. Okay. I also encountered 3 thus far in my grading who did the antibibliography and then attached a works cited, which is entirely redundant. Okay, the antibibliography already is a works cited. You don't need a works cited to a works cited. Okay, so just so you guys know, if you have to do an antibibliography in the future, these are things you have to keep in mind. You need to evaluate them based on your own research question. True, you do not need a works cited for an antibibliography because you've already got the works in it. Okay, the entire thing is a works cited. All right. All right, so let me open it up to one last round of questions, and then we will call it a day. So who has a further questions, go ahead and raise your hand. Let me see what you need. All right, so if there's no further questions here, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get cut loose here. One thing I want to let you guys know about next week is going to be the course wrap-up. It is basically the complete final exam packet overview. I'm trying to have some extra materials in there, but there's a possibility that a lot of it might be getting redacted due to copyright issues. So if that's the case, it's going to behoove you very much to check the links in the annotations or the links in the description so that you can go to whatever the videos that wind up getting cut. Okay? So with that in mind, thanks for coming, guys. We'll do one more of these sessions next week. It'll be entirely question and answer. So make sure if you're going to be coming to the next week's session, make sure you have a lot of questions to ask. Okay, because we're going to try to take care of all the business all at once. Okay? Thanks for coming. I will see you guys next week.